welcome back. Bell and the Birdmen,
Hey.
little bonus episode. Forgot these on the podcast. That was a complete mistake, but okay.
Well, I think if we
get a
just
little-
stick to the bonus segment, it'll work its way back to the main show.
We'll find its way back. Anyway, a lot of things I want to get into, primarily with Jason Kelce, because when you see the Phillies, first off, Phillies going to the World Series is just so ridiculous for a million different reasons. But
One, he was a big part of it.
he was, and that's the cool thing, because that video of Kelce pregame coming out onto the field, throwing the first pitch, chugging the beer, person in a mummer suit with him, and then that picture of him in the Fanatic. Is that not one of the greatest things you've ever seen?
So good. Both to the Inquirer for the shot and Cindy Webster for the video, because that was really cool to see.
Absolutely amazing, because it's the peak of Philadelphia culture to see all of that together, right? Like the Fanatic is this massive mainstay. It's crazy that a mascot can be so representative of the city, but he is. I mean, it's the long running that he's had. It's the success and the failure. The Fanatic is always great, always beloved. And now you get Kelce, and he's pretty much always been that guy too. You know, like Kelce's always been really. I mean, he started his rookie years, what, a 5th-round pick? Like he has been almost an eternal phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like 5th, 6th out of Cincy. So like. He's just been an eternal phenomenon this whole time that he's been in Philly. He's been such a well-liked guy. Obviously, winning the Super Bowl, the Mummer speech takes it to a whole other level. But you see what he's doing now. I mean, have you been able to take stock of what Kelce's actually done in the last year of his career here?
Start us off, because I'll probably remember some too.
Yeah, because and first, I just want to say this too. It's like, it's so amazing when you go through all of this stuff, because like retirement tours have become such a big thing since, what was it, Derek Jeter, right? He was the big guy.
I think so. That was
Kobe.
Kobe was another one.
Yeah, and Kobe for a second. Kobe's game where he had like 70 points in the last game of his career. How great was that?
Oh, the Jazz were just walking off on defense. Yeah.
It was Harlem Globetrotters, Washington Generals, and Kobe was having the night of his life, and it was great. I loved that game. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But like, that's what it's been. It's all these guys. You go to each city, they all give you this big round of applause and all this adoration. And it's a whole parade for a year. And like, football doesn't really do that.
We can't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things like Kelce, because we've been to every city so far. There's not like direct standing ovations for Kelce, you know, that just hasn't been a thing. So you look at what he's doing now. I mean, he's had probably the best walk-off year that I've ever seen. And if you go back a little bit, I mean, it starts, he sang the national anthem at a Sixers playoff game. Like a starting center. It's just, it's just an active starting center.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts just rang the bell. I mean, he's the center court, but yeah, he sounds like a lumberjack that is also like an indie singer. So it's great.
Yeah, I mean, how did that even start? Was it like a Twitter video or something?
I'll actually tell you where it started.
Yeah.
Remember where it started? WXPN had him in 2016 or 15.
Wow.
With Connor Barwin, I believe.
Okay.
And he ripped some indie song with an acoustic guitar, and I remember specifically because they yelled at us for recording the performance, because I thought it was like, there's no fucking way that's Jason Kelce.
Yeah.
And he was just sitting alone with an acoustic guitar, and you would have thought he was in a log cabin smoking a cigar and drinking a nice glass of bourbon. Like, it was, I was like, holy shit. So I think that's where it started, that we always knew he fucked around with guitar, but like, you even brought it up. Him and the new pod with his brother Travis and all that stuff has been great if you haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, that's not going to go anywhere, especially when Travis becomes an Eagle once Jason retires.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen. And for all these things, because, yeah, I mean, like, look at this list, right? He sings for a Sixers playoff game. He does the national anthem. When it was that whole thing about him coming back, Nick Sirianni gives him the keg of beer. They have the whole video post. Everybody freaks out over that. Then, in this offseason, he hosts a show on WIP. Pretty big deal. To get an active player to do something like that. He had the whole thing with Adam Lefkoe. Him and Adam Lefkoe on draft night when they drafted Jordan Davis and talking about Cam Jurgens and A.J. Brown trade and all that stuff. Like, that was a crazy thing. So he's been making this big media tour. He's building himself as a hosting personality. He's got the podcast now, which everybody loves.
Yeah.
He started his own clothing line. And now
Wait, when did he do that?
he did that not too long ago.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that. Yeah.
Like within the last
the
2
underdog
months.
or something.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's called the Underdog or the Underdogs. And he started that clothing line. And a lot of it is, I mean, he's getting other players on the team. So now he's got licensed deals with other NFL players.
So smart.
And he's making all these shirts and putting it out, and they're pushing it. And you know what I mean? So he's got that whole thing going.
Dude, you just said this, but like, I'm thinking about this now. Like, we have an idea for Thursday that I can't wait to tell you about.
Yes.
Secondly, the best retirement year ever, standing at 6-0, have like been quoted as saying none of the shit matters. Like the king of press conferences this offseason. Really at every point in turn, he's talking to the fan base. I think he learned a lesson from Bryce Harper there too, just FYI. And he is set up perfectly post-retirement. He's 6-0 off the field here too. You just mentioned like, speaking of which, the Christmas album with
Christmas album
that's coming on December 23rd, by the way.
Yeah,
way more on that later. You want to pay attention to that. The clothing line, the kegs of beer that Sirianni sent, like all of this stuff, all of this that I'm still like just trying to pull it right down. I think he's the new Bill Bergey, except like the most popular version of Bill Bergey ever. And if you aren't familiar with him, I mean, Bill Bergey's been making appearances left and right, since he retired. And Jason Kelce basically already have his own media arm ready to go. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if our former employer signed his ass up at somewhere when Angelo leaves and says it only makes sense.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to the Philadelphia fan base. I have no idea how they're going to pay for him.
He ain't
That's
doing
not for
that.
me to decide. And not all the time, but just like, Ruben Amaro Jr. is probably
if they
hanging
got
around
him
in
once a
Phillies
week.
media now or whatever it is. But I just think he's got so much to offer post-career too that I can't wait to see. He's going to be around here forever.
Well, that's the
It's
amazing
great.
thing. I mean, he set himself up so incredibly well because he's already got the reputation. He knows how to use the media. He's been a good media personality anyway. But now, I mean, to have all these properties set up where he's got the podcast, he's got the clothing line, like he's so advanced with all of this. And you see that with Brady a little bit. I mean, he's had TB12 for a long time. He's got a podcast. Do you know what his podcast is called, by the way?
Oh,
New
I
Heights,
forget.
right?
No.
No.
No. Brady's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brady's new podcast. I have no idea.
His podcast is called the Let's Go podcast.
yeah, that's right. I
the
forgot
worst
about
Wait,
thing.
wait.
that.
Do you,
Let's go.
wait, do you know who hosts it?
Not him?
I think it's him and Jim Gray.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Unlistenable.
It's
Unlistenable.
the most boring. I would never in my life. I used to have to hear clips of that back in the day with work, and I hated it. It was the whole thing's so fake. But
Well,
that's the
and
thing.
I just want to point this out here, too. Noah, greatest player on earth. I don't want to hear a fucking word he's got to say. Not a word. Jason Kelce, probably the best center of all time, want to hear everything that man has to say.
Because he's honest.
Big
One,
difference.
he's
Yes.
honest. He actually talks
Not a
about
piece of
things.
shit.
Yes. So
Very high on the list of being a good person. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to hear a lot of things from Jason Kelce. So for him to announce that he's going to retire, get brought back for this year, have this great season, the whole city has essentially bowed down to him. Like, is he going to ring the bell for a Union playoff game? I
Definitely.
don't know. He feels due
Hey,
for
by the way,
it.
fuck NYCFC, by the way. Fuck them.
Yeah, they can eat shit. So that's my new favorite thing. I love saying people can eat shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how I picked that up, but
No, I
that's,
like it.
I've said it a lot lately. Anyway, so it's pretty cool to see that Kelsey's built all this stuff because it's very rare to find an athlete that is so well established with a post-career path or paths. And he's still got midway through the season. He's not distracted. He's playing at a high level. Like it's just crazy to see all this built in. And you know what the funny thing is about all this? I think the fans have a lot to do with this. Like,
Go on.
Think about how advanced Philly is when it comes to everything, right? Because the number of people that, if I were to roll through my Twitter feed right now, and I went through all the different people that I've followed over the years, like the number of random sports blogs and podcasts and all that stuff, I mean, hundreds of them. Different T-shirt companies over all the different years and all these different things. It's just, there's so much of it. It's so deep in the culture. It's so ingrained that the business of it on an amateur or outside level is like, it's so established.
Well, and I think it is exactly because of what we just said. He's incredibly transparent, very honest too. And I mean, it took the Super Bowl obviously to get it all out of there. And like, he's not the guy that's going to stomp and celebrate when, the ultimate goal hasn't achieved. And then when it was, like I feel as though he's trending towards he's built that relationship so well of being like, you guys wanted me gone. he's understood the psyche so much, and I believe he got knocked down for it a lot of the time early in his career, especially from a lot of radio hosts in the city. Just thought he was just, he never says anything honest. He always goes along with the team or whatever. That was the thing, and that's just him. He's not going to dog his teammates, especially the ones that are out there. He's not going to cause a fuss in the media because it's not their problem. He hates that shit. He's been open about it, and we love that. We love that. And it's just time. Like, this relationship does not happen if he leaves in 16, which it felt like it was very possible happening.
Yeah.
He understands that too, and welcomes all of the crowd. I mean, calling out Ben Simmons while he's still a Sixer.
That's right.
That to me was just like, okay, this guy's going to take land. And I love it. I love it. But it's all honest. Exactly. And I think that's why we love him so much, is because we've seen him up, down, left, right, take it and come back and be an amazingly more fun guy than I think we ever thought he could be.
Yeah, and to think about all the stuff that he's going to do and the stories that we'll hear and all that when he's done officially. You know what I mean? Like, what does he say when he's 5 years removed from the team and playing in the NFL? You know what I mean? I wonder where all that goes. I'm excited to see where all that goes. He's built the framework for it, and just to orchestrate all of this while he's playing, again, you can't state it enough, while he's playing and playing at a high level is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the level of respect, the quality of business acumen that he's got, the whole thing is just so well refined. Like, this is the blueprint. If I was any athlete that was worth a damn and trying to do anything post-career, follow Jason Kelce.
Yeah. And I got to say something that I don't think I'd ever say. Brian Dawkins will never be a footnote in the city, but he's going to get pushed out 5 years from now once Jason Kelce is out and retired. You will not find, that's it. The way that I wasn't here for all of it, obviously.
Yeah.
But when Reggie got pushed out, and then, I remember him more in Green Bay, honestly, than I do as an Eagle, which is really,
Same.
really
That
unfortunate,
in Carolina.
too. Yeah. That was still is to me the greatest player that has ever played in Philadelphia Eagles history. And it's hard to convince me otherwise, but I also love Dawkins so much, and I love Kelce so much that the same effect is going to happen here. Dawkins becomes the new Reggie, and he stayed here his entire time because Kelce has the ring and everything else. This whole new generation of Eagles fan is going to push out Brian Dawkins the way that Reggie's been pushed out, and that's just time. I'm not accusing everybody of anything. Everyone respects the history of this fucking organization more than any other franchise that I've known. But it's just the truth.
It's time, it's culture, it's personality, right? I mean, for Dawkins, I think as big a personality as he was getting ready for a game and playing a game, off the field, he's just hey, yeah, how's it going? You know what I mean? He's just a super mellow dude. So for him, he wasn't going to be that a hot take, I'm going to get out here, I'm going to spit my shit, or I'm just going to try to be on a post-game show and do all that kind of stuff. He was kind of in the front office for a little bit, and then he left, and you haven't really heard from him since. So he doesn't have the personality for it. And at the same time, when his career ended, I mean, we're talking, 2011, 2012? Podcasting's still pretty new. YouTube isn't really a fully sustained economy for a lot of people. And that's the thing. The same thing with the city. The amount of podcasts and blogs and shirt creators and all that stuff was it was so much in its infancy that now all that stuff is developed so much. As an athlete, you can see the Hertz hat. Hertz that you've got. I mean, what happens?
Shout out to Lord Brunson.
Yeah, Lord Brunson makes the hat. A.J. Brown wears it.
Bang.
Blows up.
Yep.
But the players are a part
too.
of that. Nick Sirianni's wore some random shirts this year. It feels like they've made some of that. I don't know if Kelce did or he did or the team did or what, but they've made a lot of that. So everything's just merging together. Kelce's the perfect guy for the moment. To see him transition like this, it's impressive.
And I
honestly.
think if Jalen Hurts continues to have the career that he does, he will be in this class of people that we're talking about in terms of beloved by the city. He doesn't have to be Joe Montana, but I'm just saying if he's continues to do these things, I think he fits the psychological mold of what everybody wants here too.
Yeah, no, he certainly does. Whether or not he'll speak after his career, I don't know what he'll do with that, but I'd be curious to see because, again, he's just a super compelling personality, and whatever he's going to do, he's going to be good at it. So,
and it's pretty crazy to think about with this new group of Eagles players because I know we've all tried to find and look and make those comparisons, but Jordan Davis to me is the new Brandon Graham psychologically once he gets in there and gets his feet together. And Jalen Hurts is Jason Kelce to me. Very transparent, people want to call it humble, but he's just not that guy. He doesn't do it in front of the media. You hear him in the locker room. You understand the gravitation when it's that transition is going to happen to once Jalen does something great for this franchise. I feel like it's the same guy.
Undefeated and win the Super Bowl this year. So there you have it. But all right.
Yeah,
well,
Jason Kelce's amazing, man.
Yeah, he is. And you're all amazing. Thank you for joining us on the bonus segment here, which is, by the way, brought to you by Philly Sports Trips, which we have so much going on. We're going to Houston, man. I mean, we're going to be in Houston for the World Series and the Eagles-Texans game. Like, if you're out in the area thinking about coming to the area, hit us up. It's in the Discord. You can get in with all the Philly Sports Trip stuff. It's all there. You can text us 215-509-5833. So that's how you can get in touch with us. Tailgate with the Steelers on Sunday. It's all happening. It's all happening at phillysportstrips.com. We'll talk to you soon.